Hey, everybody. Listen, happy Monday. It's Trending Topics Monday. And we're here. We're in the building. It's the Divas here. You know, on Mondays, I do a recap of Royer for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's why I come on a little late on Mondays. And Basketball Wives is about to start soon. I haven't watched Basketball Wives in like forever. But Royer wanted to recap Basketball Wives, and I said, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and recap Basketball Wives together. So Basketball Wives will be on my list of things to recap. But in the meantime, in between time, people, it's Monday night, it's Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Yes, we do. Hey, Sasuke. Thank you to my moms that are in the building. We got Katrina, we got Sasuke, and we got Julius. So say hi to the moms. They be working hard for the Diva. And speaking of that, my goal, and I still got 2 days left or something like that. My goal for the month of April is to hit 40K subs. I'm like 500 away. So tell a friend, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, come through and hang out with the Diva. So tonight's title is real simple. It's called Tragic. It's real simple. It's called Tragic. Diddy's looking for jurors. They got questions they want to ask the jury. Some of their questions are, how do you feel about boyfriends and girlfriends who cheat on each other, or probably just couples who cheat on each other? You know, the worst thing to have in your jury pool, if you are on the side of the defense, the worst thing to have in the jury is somebody that got a bias against something that you fighting for against your life. There are some people that they've been scorned by an ex that they can't see past the forest, past the trees. And they hear that, you know, Diddy cheated on Cassie or whatever the case may be. They may already have some things like, you know, so they're asking about that. They're asking the people how they feel about sex. There are some people that are very, what's the word that I got? I'm going to use the word vanilla because I don't know what else to say. They're very vanilla about sex. It's like, no, sex is between a man and a woman. And they got to be married and yada, yada, who. And they can't get past it. There's couples that like to sleep with other couples, or people of the same sex that like to sleep together. This is going to be a mess. I don't know where they're going to find a neutral jury. Not quite sure. But these are some of the questions that they're asking. They're also asking, how do you feel about rich people? Because there's some people that they just legit hate rich people. They feel like they're greedy. They have all of these preconceived notions about rich people. So Diddy is fitting all the boxes. This is going to be a rough road for him. You got to get somebody that don't hate rich people. You got to get somebody that don't think that hip-hop music is about drugs, sex, and violence. You got to get somebody who is open to every sexual experience out there. And you got to get somebody who doesn't care or is not heartbroken over cheaters. Somebody send a letter to whatever his prison number is, 78956, and let him know, say good luck, Diddy. And especially because his defense team, they trying to say his mental capacity, that he couldn't commit these crimes because he wasn't mentally stable because of the alcohol and the drugs. They're going to have to come one better than that. Because he still had that, what's the alcohol he had? He had that alcohol deal, and he was still doing that with his mental capacity. He created the Love album with his mental capacity being off. So that's probably got to be the worst defense known to mankind. I never went to law school, and I could probably defend Diddy better than his lawyer. Because I sure wouldn't be using those idiotic defenses. I don't know, Diddy. For what I'm seeing right now, it ain't looking good. But the question tonight is, would you be a Diddy juror if they asked you? Now let's go on.
Ask me what?
Let's go on to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, to save face, he wanted to tell us he was stepping away for a moment. That's a joke. He wanted to tell us he was stepping away for a moment, but he'll be back. It's like the Terminator. I'll be back. He ain't going to be back. Because they're already talking about his replacement. And how dreadful is it that you mess up $100 million bag? Let me tell you something. Show me a $25 million contract, and I'm going to become the church lady. I'm going to walk the straight and narrow line. $100 million bag, you're not going to even see me getting upset with nobody in no store. The paparazzi could be in my face. I'll be like, take all the pictures you want. I'm not messing up my $100 million bag, because that's not only going to change my life, it's changing my family life too. If you do that thing right in a smart way, your kids will be able to eat off of the fact that you made this $100 million. But no. You know what? I was talking to a friend about this Shannon Sharpe situation. And I think he hit the nail on the head. He said, Diva, you want to know what the problem is? They're still pissed that OJ allegedly did what he did to his ex-wife. I said, oh my goodness, you hit the nail on the head. They're still pissed over that. So anybody else after that, you're going to catch the smoke. You're going to catch the heat. Jonathan Majors was running away from the girl. He caught the smoke and the heat. Shannon Sharpe is caught on audio talking about he going to choke the S out of this person. He caught the heat. He not getting that contract no more. That's it. It's a wrap. Let's go on to the next story, because we're going to talk about that. Let me tell you what's sad. 11-year-old tragedy. You know, I was fortunate growing up. Now, I'm not saying I didn't go through some stuff. I went through some stuff. But I never was bullied or anything like that, to the point of, you know, where I wasn't able to deal with it. But I did go through a lot of stuff. But now it's so sad. The bullying that's going on now, it has a lot of people taking their own lives. There's an 11-year-old kid. He was not only bullied by his fellow students, he was bullied by the teacher because the teacher kept calling him stupid. He took his life. The family is now suing. And I told you before, I'm not the queen of suing. But now I'm getting to understand why people sue. And in this case, I am in agreement. Sue the school. Well, you know what? Too Good to Leave You Now. They sure did. So they did find a jury for him. They did. So they'll find a jury for Diddy. You are correct. So the 11-year-old family is suing now. And it's so heart-wrenching. Some stories, I gotta be ready to do them if that makes any sense to you. And the reason why I say I gotta be ready to do them, because it takes a lot out of you. It's so emotional. And when you're reading it and you're researching this stuff, you almost feel like you're going through it with the family or this person. Is so heart-wrenching. But the reason why I do talk about these stories is because, honestly, I'm always hoping that there's at least one person that is listening and following me will do something differently as a result of something they might have heard during our trending topics. And to the best of your ability, you know your own kid. And when your kid is not acting the same or doing the same, I ask my kid often, but this I got from my father. My father, every time he saw me, God rest his soul, he'd be like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." So he just always asks me, "Are you good?" Ask your kids, ask your family member, "Are you good?" But don't just ask to be asking. Tune in and look at their body language, look at them, really try to connect and see, are they really good? Because it's sad what's going on right now. Anytime a kid takes their life, or anybody, even an adult, it's heart-wrenching. I think if we show more love in the world would definitely be a better place. And I mean, I think it's really that simple. I think too much in this world, we care too much about what people are doing. Love them for who they are. Like I told you over here, I don't care. Like, as long as it's two consenting adults, I could care less. I don't know why people are so emotional and so into like what people are doing. And half the time you don't even know these people. Why are we so obsessed with two grown consenting adults are doing? Why are we so mean and so angry? It's sad. Just love people for who they are, what they are. It's very sad. And when these kids are so mean and they're bullying each other, but when you got the teacher calling a kid stupid, I would go to that school and slap the piss out of that teacher. And I ain't even a violent person. You're trash as a teacher. You're trash. You're straight up trash when you are calling a student stupid. You have got to be stupid, because you should be able to teach that kid and raise that kid up and let that kid know that anything is possible. And I will help you achieve. So yes, that family should sue the school, the district, and everybody in between. Listen, guys, it's time for me to shut up and bring the people on in the building. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Monday Night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Tragic. We got Diddy. He needs some jurors. Okay? Anybody living in the New York metropolitan Brooklyn area, call the court. Tell them put you on the list because you ready to serve as a juror, okay? We got Shannon Sharpe. No, they eyeing people. What's Travis Scott's brother name? Are they twins? Either way, they're looking at his brother. They're looking at Travis Scott's brother to take this slot. Shannon Sharpe, you big dummy. You big dummy. Fumble the bag over some booty. And then you got the 11-year-old tragedy. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva. Hey, panel. Hey, chat. Choo, choo, choo.
Choo. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all, hit the like button. Choo choo. Let's get Diva to 40K.
Thank you. Hey, Wayne. All right, people, I'm going to go ahead and roll into this first story. We might as well start with Diddy and get him out the way because, listen, the month of May is going to be consumed with Diddy because the trial is starting on May the 5th. Now, his lawyers, their defense they want to use is that he didn't have the mental capacity to commit these crimes, okay, because he was either too high, drugged up, or both. And they actually want to get a doctor to come in and to testify this and not a doctor that examined him. And I'm just saying to myself, are you serious right now? Is this really what y'all trying to do? Okay. So, and then they also have a set of questions because the questions that you're going to ask the jurors, they have to be pre-approved, right? It's not like if you somebody's lawyer, you could randomly just say, roll up, they put a juror on the stand and you could just ask any random question. The questions that are going to be asked, they are going to have to be approved, by both sides, the prosecutors and the defense. And so with that being said, let me go ahead and share screen. Hold on one second. So Diddy to jury pool, sex, drugs, hip hop, what's your take? So potential jurors in Diddy's federal trial going to get grilled on several subjects before they get picked. And the hot topics include their taste in music. See, the thing with rap music, unfortunately, a lot of people connected to drugs, violence, hate, all kinds of stuff. So he's like on the, that's a strike right there. And their view on drugs, celebs, and group sex. So they got to ask the jurors this because all of these type of things are going to come into play during this trial. With jury selection just a week away for Diddy's trial, his attorneys are submitting the 30 questions they want to put to the jury pool. Not shockingly, considering the charges, sex is raised several times. For instance, there may be evidence in the case about people engaging in sexual relations with multiple sexual partners. Would hearing about that type of evidence be difficult for you? And they got to ask that question, right? Because there are some people that they're really just like, oh my God, I can't, whatever. And, I'm just like, it is what it is. Hold on, let's take a listen.
A lot of activity in the Diddy case now. It is kind of forming because the both sides are now taking stands on issues that are going to be critical to this case. And what is particularly interesting is what just happened with respect to drug use, which is going to be front and center in this case.
We know that in the indictment, prosecutors have said they believe that Diddy drugged his alleged victims to make them more compliant during his big parties, during freak-offs. So now the issue is about Diddy's drug use, and there is a battle over, as prosecutors describe it in these documents, his mental capacity and the testimony of a psychiatrist.
Now, this is going to get a little bit confusing, but I think we can unravel this. So here's what the prosecutor said.
Right. The prosecutor is saying we do not want this psychiatrist to testify to anything having to do with how drug or alcohol use affected Diddy's state of mind during these alleged crimes.
More specifically, whether it excused some of the conduct, whether Diddy, the prosecutors are saying that the defense wants to use this shrink to show somehow, this is what the prosecutors are saying, that even if Diddy committed a crime, he didn't have the intent to do so because he was so whacked out on drugs. That seems to be what the prosecutors are saying. But, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's, and this is my opinion on this, but I think I'm right on this. The defense is not saying that, well, it's a crime, but he didn't really mean it. The defense is saying what happened is not a crime at all. It's a lifestyle. It is a choice that Diddy and the alleged victims made, and that when they engaged in drug use, they did it freely, but there are things that happen when you
when
use
people
drugs.
use these particular drugs,
And particularly like an MDMA or
something
something like that.
But I know that's what you're theorizing could be what the defense is going to say. The reality is, in the documents, we don't know, right? Because
yeah, I think one way or the other, no matter how you slice it, what we're talking about is, right, the issue of intent, right? You can't have a crime, at least this crime, without the intent to commit the crimes for which Diddy's been accused. They're saying it may be, Harvey, I think you're onto something here, that it may just be caught up in this entire lifestyle. There's no intent to commit a crime here. What there's an intent is to have sometimes drug using, people are consenting to drug use, and then it leads to a lot of sex, but it's all part of this party freak off atmosphere, this swinging atmosphere. But it doesn't mean there was ever an intent to commit a crime, and it doesn't mean any crime was committed just because all the people were sort of wrapped up in this partying lifestyle.
I want to go just a tiny bit further than that. It's not even so much intent as what they did is what people do when they take drugs. We know the defense is going to say everybody, they're going to argue everybody voluntarily took these drugs, and that when you do, there are inhibitions that just go away. And it is part and parcel of doing this, even though the jury may not be familiar with it. This is what happens when people do drugs. I think that's the point of the defense calling the shrink.
The reality is we don't know. In the documents, there's a lot of it that is redacted that has to do with what this condition, the alleged condition is. So we can't tell for sure, but certainly prosecutors think that it's going to be something about his capacity to make decisions. Because there's a part of it, I just want to read this part that says, they did not offer proper notice, the defense, about evidence of the effects of drugs and alcohol on a defendant's memory or cognitive function.
Now that could be.
So that's what prosecutors clearly think that the doctor is going to testify to.
But that may not be Diddy. That may be the alleged victims. See, that's the point, is that may go to not what Diddy's memory was, it's what the alleged victims' memories were. And I am sure the defense is not going to concede, oh, he committed a crime, but they're not going to say that. So I think the shrink is going to testify, when the alleged victims testify, their memories may be faulty because here's what happens with drugs. Again, I'm not embracing this. I'm just saying.
The problem with that is that Diddy also did those drugs.
Right.
Right.
So they're saying it's all the lifestyle, which is what we heard on Friday. Now, a huge blow to the defense is that on Friday, the prosecutors won, and the Cassie video is going to be admitted in this trial, and that is going to be critical.
Yeah, we know it's going to be critical. I mean, one, we've all seen the video. We know everyone has opinions about it, and we saw this in practice when we did our last Diddy documentary, and we talked about his potential defense. We had a mock jury, and they saw the video,
and they also heard evidence. They heard the arguments on both sides, and they deliberated, and they were on 3 counts, and they were hung up on 2 of them. But on the sex trafficking, they convicted him unanimously, and I debriefed them and asked them what moved them.
How many people did this profoundly impact in making your decision, that Cassie video? Show of hands. So it really impacted you folks. Did it turn it for you?
Yeah.
Why?
Being a woman myself and seeing a woman like that just made me more sensitive to the whole case itself, and probably maybe more siding with the victims, seeing a victim instead of him being the person that was attacking her. So I can't side with him because I don't see anything done to him in that light that was done to her.
I didn't know much about the case at all. So I came in completely objective, and watching him beat his girlfriend, he's like prohibiting her from leaving as well. It's very distressing to watch.
It had a huge impact. And again,
you know what's interesting?
He's not being tried for that, but it is impactful.
What I thought was interesting is that the jurors who raised their hand, it was a cross section. It wasn't just white people. It wasn't just black people. It wasn't just men. It wasn't just women.
Everybody,
That's
absolutely. That's so important.
Very telling.
And by the way, will be extremely important when it comes to jury selection. And a lot of people think this case begins and ends with the composition of this jury.
Now, that video, I think certainly plays a role in at least one of the questions, not several, that Diddy's defense plans to ask the potential jurors when jury selection begins a week from today.
This just came out.
Right. These are they filed 30 questions that they plan to ask during the voir dire process. Here are a few critical ones because they're clearly sex is going to be a big deal here. They said there may be evidence in this case about people engaging in sexual relations with multiple sexual partners. Would hearing about that type of evidence be difficult for you? There was also a follow-up question about people cheating, where they say, look, there's gonna be evidence about people cheating on boyfriends or girlfriends. I think that is interesting because Diddy's explanation, I won't say defense, explanation for what happened in that Cassie beating video is that they were arguing. That was the tail end of an argument about him cheating with someone else.
That's right.
She had seen his phone.
His phone. Now, I'm surprised at that first question. What I'm surprised about are the words, would it be difficult for you? I'm surprised at that because I thought they were going to make it more about whether jurors would be judgmental about it.
Right.
Not that it's difficult, but do you look down on people who have this kind of lifestyle? Because I think that's what you want to hear. And I'm assuming they're going to ask that in follow-up questions.
Right.
But it's not about, is it hard to hear? It's, do you judge people poorly if they engage in that type of lifestyle?
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is what the defense wants to hear.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what they're trying to get to there. But obviously, there's a way they word these things and then
they can follow up. Right.
Just a couple of the other questions that are in there. There are a total of 30. One, this is interesting. Do you believe that wealthy people get away with things that the less wealthy do not?
That's the celebrity justice
That's the
question.
celebrity, exactly. Are you going to judge him because he's a celebrity? How are you going to feel about that? And then another one about drug use. Do you have any personal experiences or opinions about drug or alcohol use or addiction?
See, the hard one there is, are jurors going to be honest about that? Yeah, I've done cocaine and heroin or MDMA.
Well, you could also say, I have a friend and I saw what they went through, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way around. The juror doesn't have to go,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did lots of coke.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, how far are these jurors going to go?
They're not going to go on trial. They're not suddenly going to find themselves on trial if they say, well, yeah, I did try MDMA.
Some of them are going to feel that way when they're asked that question. I just think that's a really it's an important one,
yeah.
But I think it's really interesting.
What's up, everyone? I'm AMG Benzo down here in Atlanta, and I have 3 things to hit on. The Cassie video is definitely play a big part in this whole the jury and what they decide to go with. The jurors being selected is going to be a major thing because it's going to be hard to answer those questions you all said. And them saying the intent behind Diddy's drug use, I just don't see that happening because at the end of the day, he runs several businesses. And I get that these happen at freak-offs, but it's still, even when you look at the Cassie video, that happened during the day. So some of these incidents aren't all happening at this freak-offs that they're talking about. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on the jury. That's just me.
Interesting.
I wonder how many people do want to be on that jury, because I think a lot do. I think a lot do.
I think a lot of people have made up their mind.
This
just based on what they've seen so far.
This case is going to largely be determined by the composition of this jury.
Ooh, ooh. Katrina, your thoughts, and would you be a juror?
Yeah, so I can write a book. Whatever jury he get, I don't know where they're gonna get these people from, because like, who don't know about Diddy? If they're gonna go to grandmama in them house, I'm just trying to figure out how these people is gonna be fair, because most of these people know about Diddy. Most of these people know about Diddy lifestyle. Most of these people know what Diddy's done. Most of these people, he better hope he don't get nobody on the trial that he stiffed they artists and they related to him. He got a lot of stuff he got a lot of roads to cross, and then he got to be careful about using the drug use as well, because you signed a lot of contracts. If you claim that you was on these drugs or substances or whatsoever, these people can come back and say, well, these contracts is not valid because you claim that you was under influence. So he got to be careful on that point too. But all I can do is say we just got to watch this, because it's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be a circus, because there's so many circumstances around it, and I'm just trying to figure out where they're gonna find a jury that's gonna be biased, or that's gonna actually come in there and tell the truth, that they don't have hate or anything like that. This gonna be very, very risky, but we'll see how it goes. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Ooh, this a hot mess. This a hot mess. And no, I would not be a juror. No, absolutely not. I would not be a juror. The substances and all of that, and all those contracts that you have people sign, like, they need to be questioned and whatnot. And he's just all over the place. So no, I would not be a juror. And he's a
Thank
hot
you.
mess.
Thank you, Julius. Savannah, your thoughts?
I think I'm with Katrina. I will definitely be a juror. I think Sean is going to have a difficult time, or his legal team is going to have a difficult time of finding a jury of his peers, because this is going to be in the Southern District of New York. Diddy's reputation goes back to the late 80s, early 90s. And it's going to be difficult to not have our opinions from the incidents that happened with Heavy D, um, the one young lady that he harassed, that had the club incident with J Lo and Shine. I mean, he has a history of being violent, not just to Cassie, but to others. I can never get the image of when that man tried to bum rush Dave Chappelle on stage, and Diddy and his crew were the first ones to grab that man. And we can all remember how that man was left, he was stomped and beat, and when they put him on to the gurney, how his limbs were pointed to directions that were not normal. So I would definitely, if selected, be on the jury, but I think his defense is going to have a difficult time in finding a group of people who would look at the evidence and not hold his reputation and things that the culture knows, the street knows. Um, and he has a large mountain to climb. He really does. I think it's more than just the Cassie video. Cassie video is just the starting point. There's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, thank you, Savannah. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, I wouldn't want to be a juror for the simple fact there's been too many, or unaliving around Diddy and all that, and just for like for family's sake and just for your safety, because say if you want to be a fair juror and you get on there and you see the evidence and all that, and you have to find him guilty, and you might just end up a trending topic. So I wouldn't even want to be my name associated with it, because I was on the jury one time and we convicted this man. I was the foreman. I walked out the court and the news people was right in my face. Are you so-and-so, so-and-so? I said, yeah. Well, did you know that when y'all found him guilty that he was going to get this? I'm like, well, no, that wasn't, part of our decision. So I just wouldn't want to bring the heat to me. As much as I would like to do my service, my duty, as a juror, But this case, no, it's just too much stuff around it. People involved, people getting bribed, you know, all this stuff, threatened. I wouldn't want to do it to myself. That's it.
Thank you. Tay, your thoughts?
No, I will not be a jury at all. Because one, I don't want to have my car blown up, allegedly. And three, I don't want to be get beaten by this man right here. Actually, I'm gonna have my pepper spray and my purse to be here just in case he put his hand on me right there, just in case. And tell that Diddy deserve what he got. Diddy, your career has been over since the caffeine tape right there. It's over. DONE. You're done, Diddy. So long, brother. That's all.
Ooh, dear. Tay said he's done. Okay. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Well, you know, Diva, you just showed a whole lot. That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back in my memory bank from where they started. What are the actual charges against Mr. Combs? I think that's a good place. So he was charged with racketeering and sex trafficking offenses. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember the third one. What's the third one, Diva?
Prostitution, like for hiring prostitutes.
Oh, that's sex trafficking, yeah?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I know it was that, racketeering, something else. Anyways, I don't recall him being charged with selling or using or any drugs. And I don't recall him being charged for battery and assault on Cassie Ventura. So when Harvey was talking about showing this tape that they did a mock trial with a mock jury, I don't know how he presented the case. Okay, it sounds like he was the prosecution. So I don't know what they heard, but I know that if these are the three charges and you show me this tape of him having beating up and kicking around his girlfriend, I don't know how I would feel about it. One of the things that they say that a good juror should be, that they should be looking for is someone, as Katrina mentioned, who is fair, someone who is honest, someone who can have good judgment. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you get to that by asking people, have you indulged in the alcohol, the cocoa, the meth? I don't know, because this is a federal court. And if I am an honest person, am I filling that out? Nope. I'm an honest person. Am I going to be discussing my sexual life or my private business? Nope. Certainly not for Mr. Combs, unless I have another agenda. So I suspect that the people who will go through these questions and open up their private lives and take these kinds of risks, and let me be very clear, because, I don't mind being challenged, but I need to slow down sometimes when I'm speaking. We have the president of the United States is into everything. Mm-hmm. He into everything. So you bring in 1,000 people and they're filling out these forms. I don't know what he's doing with these questions. I really don't. So why would I open up myself to all of that to be on a case like this? So I suspect that the people who will are the ones who want to be celebrity adjacent, people who are into writing books, people who are into making movies, into films and things like that. I think regular folks is like, no, there's enough going on out here. I'm not exposing myself like this.
I found these results on search.
So like Wayne said, well, what the other guy at TMZ says, well, you said, I had a friend of mine who suffered. Well, what if there's a follow-up question? What do you do then? What's your friend's name? Oh, no. One of my kids had a problem. You can expose your kids so you can sit on this. You probably would if you do want to write a book, make a movie. You want to, say that you're there. Me personally, no. Mm-mm. I would definitely pass. And I think I agree with Harvey with the idea that these questions may be part of how they're going to snag the victims, because we know that Cassie did the dope and she was under the influence. So did she remember? Does she not remember? I don't know. So I think that's where they're asking about the judgment. If a person can forget. So if I play it, like, are we asking if Mr. Combs is mentally stable, or can he remember? Can she remember? And when they ask, are you going to be like, how would you feel if part of the evidence is, someone who has multiple boyfriends or multiple girlfriends? I don't know personally about anybody else, but I don't want to see a video where there's some woman who's being, I don't even know the words, engaging in sexual acts with multiple men. I'm not comfortable with that. Hell no. I ain't doing it. The judge could lock me up, and then I'm going to have to go to the press and go with Wendy, because I don't want that in my mind. I don't want to be around nothing like that. So there's a lot. It can go both sides, I think. I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Katrina, your thoughts? Did I come to you already?
Yeah, she gonna write a book.
Yeah, you.
Okay, so my screen shifted. Everybody answer this. Yeah, this is going to be some trial, and it's definitely going to be very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and roll into the next story. I'll go ahead and put the 11-year-old in the middle of this. It's just so sad. So let's go ahead and get into this story. 1 second.
Begin tonight with the story of a 5th grade boy in Ocala who's dead after committing suicide.
And his parents say it was because he was bullied by his teacher. TV 20's Ethan Badowski tells us how people at the school are reacting.
He didn't deserve it. I wish I was there so I could just smack the gun out of his hand.
Kyrie Whitehead is mourning the loss of his best friend, 10-year-old Lewis Johnson. Johnson committed suicide Thursday after his parents say he was bullied by his teacher, Dawn White.
She screams at a lot of people, even though they don't do anything. She makes people cry, and she's very mean. She deserves to be in jail for a little bit. For a long time.
White has worked at 5 different schools since 2009, and Marion County Public School officials say they are investigating the allegations. A person answering White's phone hung up when we called. They also say they received no formal complaints about White from any students or parents.
People are going to be very protective of their kids, and they're going to do everything it takes to get things solved and get to the bottom of it. But I feel like when kids try to go into, I think it's a gap in between there because they don't know how to go and speak to adults sometimes.
Lewis's parents passed out flyers to parents in the carpool lane about what happened, and one said that was the first they heard of his death. School district officials are meeting with the family, and Whitehead's mom told me he will be interviewed by the superintendent. Officials with Marion County Schools say that Dawn White has been put on administrative leave while the investigation with the district is ongoing. They say this is standard procedure. Reporting in Ocala, Ethan Badowski, TV 20 News.
Super sad. Let's get into the update that happened last year sometime. Let me just get into the update of this story. So boy 11 unalives himself after months of bullying and embarrassment from his own teacher who called them stupid, the lawsuit says. An 11-year-old Florida boy took his own life following relentless bullying by his school teacher who repeatedly called him stupid, a disturbing new lawsuit alleges. Lewis Johnson, 11, powwowed himself after enduring months of bullying and public embarrassment from his 5th grade teacher, Donald White, according to the lawsuit filed by his parents against Marion County School Board on April 21st. White, a former teacher at Legacy Elementary School in Ocala, called Johnson stupid and said he didn't know anything, and also recruited other students to bully him, according to the wrongful death lawsuit documents seen by WCBJ. I don't know why you're talking because you don't even know anything. You don't know nothing in this class. Isn't that right, kids? White told Johnson, the lawsuit alleged. Johnson's parents repeatedly reported White's actions to the school and the school board, but they did nothing, according to the lawsuit. White's actions caused Johnson to suffer from depression and anxiety, culminating in him attempting to take his own life on April 27, 2023, as per court documents. Johnson died 2 days later in the hospital from his injuries, according to the Marion County Sheriff Office. Johnson's parents handed out S prevention flyers in the school following their son's death, laying out more allegations against White. So sad. The lawsuit names the teacher Donna White, but the flyer produced by Johnson's parents, as well as the school district records, lists her as Dawn White. White started working in the school district in 2009, where she taught at Legacy Elementary, moving to other schools before returning to Legacy for a second spell as a fourth grade teacher between 2017 and 2021, and a third grade and final spell between 2022 and 2023. The Ocella Style Bander reported at the time. The family moved to Ocella, an hour outside of Orlando, from Virginia shortly before Johnson's death. Their son had no behavioral problems and had been happy until he moved to Florida. Detective Nick Sutcliffe, who interviewed the parents at the time, told Ocella Star Banner. The couple owned firearms, which they kept in a combination of pow safe locked in their master bedroom, and to which their son didn't know the code, the sheriff said. But on April 27, Johnson's father, Louis Johnson Jr., had taken his son to work with him on his food truck. And when they arrived, he placed the pow on the counter. While he was outside checking that his truck had power, he heard the pow and rushed back to see his son bleeding and called 911. More than 24 students were interviewed about White's behavior for an investigative report in June 2023, as reported by the news at the time. White would get furious when students got answers wrong and sometimes reduce them to tears, according to the report. White verbally insulting, humiliating, and harassing students inflicted psychological distress on her victims, the report concluded. Marion County Public Schools did not renew White's contracts following the investigation. The school board did not immediately respond to the post for comments. This is so sad. Julius, your thoughts?
I had a teacher like that. I had a teacher like that in elementary school. If it wasn't being made fun of for the color of my skin, I was being made fun of for being gay. But it gets worse. Y'all know I shared the story how I ran into a certain elementary school principal. He was her buddy, and he did it too. So seeing these stories, and the tide really didn't turn until I started working with an interim principal. And I see her every now and again on my current college's trustee board. And she also works with another one of her students when she was just a teacher. She just realized it at one of our breakout meetings. And tears come to her eyes at the seeds that she has sown. And now we are being our best selves. Parents, love, value, uplift, and protect your children. If it wasn't for the village that I had, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And if it wasn't for God looking out for me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Hate comes in all forms. And you want to know what makes it bad? How I'm a gay man? My teacher was a gay woman and prejudice. But like as the saying goes, not all skin folk are kinfolk, not all LGBT folk are kinfolk. And so I want to say this to anybody who has been bullied. And I was told in the 4th grade I was being yelled at for whatever. I was told I would not amount to anything, be anything, or make it at anything. And the very first time at the start of this school year, especially when I won my election of being student trustee, yeah, I cried. I ain't gonna front because it was another healing moment for that little boy inside. Like, look at all this good you're doing. She was so wrong. So I say this, and I'm gonna close with this. And Diva, thank you for letting me have this moment.
Mhm.
You could be anything you want to be. Anything that you set your mind to, go after it. And like the rapper Nas says, I know I can be whatever I want to be. If I work hard at it, I could be where I want to be. Remember that.
You better come on with the Nas quote. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, you don't have too much on this because I really can't even wrap my head around that this has even happened. I'm almost in denial that this couldn't possibly happen to a family. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I don't really know what to say on. So this is when I don't usually say my condolences because I don't know these people, but for this family, they really have my condolences because I can't even. I wouldn't even want to even know. I don't know what kind of pain they're going through, but I can kind of imagine they're going through a real rough time. You know, so some prayers up for the family too. That's it.
Thank you. Ooh, Tay, your thoughts?
I got something to say about this t-shirt here. It's your fault. It's your fault, Miss White. This boy lost his life because of your selfish, your greedy, hatred, and everything. It's your fault. Now this boy is gone. His parents had to grieve for his life and don't have their son back because of you right there. How you feel somebody bully your child? How you feel about that? You might as well take a look at the mirror and look at yourself and how you sleep at night. Because I hope the parents sue you. Hopefully you get fired, and then you probably a little misery. You didn't have no job at all because you don't deserve my sympathy at all. I give the sympathy to the parents who lost their baby because of you right there, and then a best friend who lost his son. I mean his best friend because of you right there. So hopefully you go to jail and lock that key forever. That's all, Diva.
Thank you, Tay. Savannah, your thoughts?
You know, the state of Florida is clearly failing their students, the parents, and the community. I didn't know, I haven't heard of this story because there's so many other stories of students being either essayed or exploited or by male and female teachers, and now they're even being bullied. You know, students deserve to be in a classroom where there is a certified, highly qualified, and dedicated adult teacher, you know, that's willing to invest and nurture these minds. And it's clear that Florida, every politician, whether you're red or blue or green, are failing their students and their citizens. And I looked it up. I see that Florida is 43rd in the nation when it comes to public education funding, and then 48th when it comes to teacher salaries. So low pay and bad policies, um, plus the pandemic, caused this teacher shortage where any um, fool can come in and be in front of a classroom and just be there for the paycheck and not for the value of the student. And it is just so sickening and disheartening that this family is going through this, and that they lost their baby. So my love and prayer goes to the family. Um, Currently, I'm watching a trial that's going on in Florida around Kissimmee, and of a young girl, 13-year-old, that her stepfather is being charged with her unaliving. And the young girl was being essayed by her stepfather. But the school that she was going to, two male teachers have now been charged with also doing things with their students. So that has now come into play into this trial, and this county is now being investigated for not vetting their teachers correctly because they found 7 to have some infractions against minors who are in positions of power where they're alone with students for long periods of time. So definitely Florida has an issue, and every politician from Rick Scott all the way down to the Board of Education, their hands are not clean, and this falls on them too, because the story says that the parents complained many times and went to the school board and to school officials, and still no one helped them protect their child. They allowed the monster to continue to um, uh, to be a nightmare to their child. So it's unfortunate, and my heart breaks for them. That's all I have to do.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Thank you, Diva. I don't think anybody will be surprised who's on this panel or in this chat that this is another failing school. So I'm going to express my condolences to the family and the loss of this young, beautiful boy. But I want to speak to the folks in the chat. When your child is in a school where there is something that is not working for the child, particularly if they're being bullied or harassed, or if they've been being assaulted, maybe it's a long route. Your kid has to get up too early to go to this school. Maybe your child needs more services. And that doesn't necessarily mean that your child has challenges. Your child may be extremely bright and also need additional services. Maybe there isn't enough resources, enough after-school programs, enough curriculum, enough outdoor events, things like that. I encourage you to begin communicating with the principal and seeing whoever is over the schools there to begin to request a transfer. In the event that your child has been bullied and harassed and assaulted, you go for one immediately. How do you do that? You file a police report, you send in an email requesting a meeting with the principal, and you are going to request a transfer immediately. I don't mean you go on Tuesday and you go ask and they tell you, well, we'll get back to you, and you send your child back there again on Wednesday. Oh, no. You take a position and you pursue it. Diva has done so many of these stories, and they all have a template. They have the same look and feel and sound to it. Now, you're going to say, oh, well, Felicia, how come you know? I know because the only thing I had to do was Google the school. And once you Google the school, you're going to get the data. So there's 2,193 schools in this is what is called Ocala, which is a part of Florida. And this school ranks 1,986. They said, what's the reading performance? Oh, well below expectations. So when I'm hearing that Ms. White was calling this child out for not knowing the answer, for being stupid or whatever, it doesn't appear that too many of the children in this school were performing at grade level. The math proficiency rank is 1,796. There's 716 children in this school. Well over 70% come from economically disadvantaged families. 64% of these kids are considered minorities. 39% are working or performing at a level that is acceptable. So out of 716, we figure maybe 300, maybe 312. And I know sometimes people hear this data and they say, oh no, my kid gets A's. Oh no, my kid can read. Oh no, my kid could do the classwork. I encourage you to have your children independently tested when they're in a failing, underperforming school. And I'm talking about a national test that is going to determine where your child ranks amongst all the kids across the country in this grade group. So this way you know whether or not for sure that they're getting a quality education. I'm sorry this happened to this family and particularly to this little boy. They said he had just moved from Virginia, so everything was new. He had to make new friends. He had to live in a new place, a new commute. He's already feeling uncertain. And then he goes into a school where he's targeted and hated and undervalued. Don't let this happen to your child. It's more common than they'll tell you. If you sit down with your children while you're cooking, they'll tell you what you need to know. But what you need to do is believe them and take action to change it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Oh, thank you, Felicia. Katrina, your thoughts?
Shoot, the mic dropped after Felicia. I don't know how to come back with this, but I do appreciate everything she's saying because she helped me with the situation that I'm dealing with. But anyway, condolences to this family. I just hope they don't try to pull a fast one and said that the guy with the little boy was playing with the pow and it went off. It's not saying that it was a account. You people will pull a fast one in a heartbeat. But if my child came home and told me that you called him dumb and you the teacher, so what learning do you have? Because any teacher in their right mind would never call another child dumb. If anything, you would take the time to teach him what he needs to know, to see what his weaknesses is, to find out do he need to be in special ed, to find out do he need tutoring, to find out do he need anything that you can do to help him. Why would you go back and call this child dumb in front of the whole class? Seems to me like what Felicia's saying, the whole class is dumb, so he's right in the middle of it. And this teacher, why is she going from school to school? What's her problem? Because if you've been at a school for more than 2 or 3 years, you get tenure and you stay at that school. So why are you hopping from school to school? So you must be the one that's dumb, and the person realize that you dumb, so you hop to this other school. I feel sorry for the parents. No parent need to lose their kids. That is a sad situation. I watched my mom go through that. That's a sad, not from the S, but from other stuff. And no parent ever gets over losing a child because it's like a part of you that's gone. And I feel sorry for this family. I would sue the people that the kids' parents that was bullying my child. I would sue their parents as well. I most definitely would sue the school. Most definitely would sue that teacher. She probably gonna need to move out of the state of Florida because she probably finna get some hate, which she already is getting, but she probably is finna really, really get it because people, all they gotta do is go to the internet and see your picture and put it out there, and they'll have your whole down information on that internet, and you will be getting threats. But I'm not condoning that either. But I'm just saying that's the things that happen. But I just hope that baby's sleeping well, and condolences to the family. But that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sad. I feel like I remember doing this story when it first happened. And now the parents are suing. This is just super sad. The teacher is a disgrace. I'm going to roll into the last story, and the last story has to do with Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe thought he was stepping away for a second, but they're in the meantime, in between time, they're behind the scenes looking for his replacement. Let me go ahead and share this last story. So new faces, favored to replace Shannon Sharpe revealed after the disgraced star pushed into stepping aside over our accuser scandal. So ESPN sources say shocking Sharpe revelations have caused a war zone atmosphere behind the scenes. An NFL legend has emerged as one of the favorites to replace Shannon Sharpe on First Take, sources have told the U.S. Sun. Sharpe, 56, is currently facing SA allegations from an unnamed woman following the end of their relationship in 2024. On Thursday, he announced that he would temporarily step away from his ESPN duties. News storm. Additionally, the U.S. Sun has obtained a lawsuit filed by another one of Sharpe's former girlfriends, Michelle Bundy Evans, who also claimed she was assaulted. While the three-time Super Bowl winner has maintained his innocence, he stated that he will take time off ahead of the new NFL season later this year. An ESPN source, however, told the U.S. Sun that the Super Bowl winning legend Jason Kelce, 37, is being considered as one of the top candidates to step into Sharpe's role on First Take. The former Philadelphia Eagles star, now retired, is highly regarded at the network after an impressive debut season as a pundit. ESPN executives reported believe Kelce's outspoken persona would be a strong match against Stephen A. Smith. His popularity has surged thanks in part to his success of his New Heights podcast with his brother Travis. One insider revealed that other talents such as Monica McNutt, Chris Russo, and Dan Orlovsky are also evaluating the situations as developments unfold. However, they claim Jason Kelce is the name on everyone's lips right now, describing his potential role as a First Take as the perfect fit. A lot of people love Jason Kelce because he knows about every major U.S. sport and can engage in great, intense conversations with Stephen A. and the other hosts, claimed the insider. He is clearly the favorite to land the gig. In October 2024, Sharpe allegedly violently assaulted and annually reared a 20-year-old woman as she cried for him to stop, according to court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun. Sharpe addressed the allegations in a statement posted on Instagram, saying the relationship in question was 100% consensual. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason, he added. At this juncture, I am electing to step away temporarily from my ESPN duties. Now, the rest of this we kind of know. Sharpe claims, the woman claimed they met at a Los Angeles gym. Is just going over the same stuff that we kind of already know. I told you about the time where he allegedly choked somebody at work, and they had to settle with that person. They gave her $750,000. I'll just say this. He thinks he's coming back, but they got people ready to step in and replace him because they don't need the controversy. And then remember, it's connected with Disney. Julius, your thought, and then they have other options where these people will get the job done and it won't be so controversial. Julius, your thoughts?
Well, Shannon Sharpe brought this up. Can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay. Shannon Sharpe brought this on himself. Okay? He brought this on himself. He chose to want to be shagadelic and overpower said women and think he didn't have to heed the advice of what anybody was telling him. Well, look at the rut that he's in now of his own doing. He's in this rut because of his ragamuffin ego. That's why. And that's why we're hearing about all these other messes. Now, initially, I am going to be honest, I thought it was just with this young lady. I'm going to be frank on that. I thought it was just this one lady. But now you have other women coming out, and he's a problem. He is a whole problem with his ragamuffin ego. We heard the recording. And it was that recording that truly opened my eyes more that he's even more of a problem. So he got into this rut because all on his own. He's a ragamuffin, a down-hole dirty dog, a hound dog, a houndrel. And, I side with the machine on this one. That's it. That's all.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Shannon know the gig is up. You know, he's just making statements that are politically correct. You know, oh, I'm taking time off. You know, I'm gonna come back for the end of the season. You know, you wouldn't expect him to say anything else different. You know, so I think he's just saying things politically correct. If I was Shannon, I would stay off of YouTube. I wouldn't be saying nothing. People can't talk if you ain't saying nothing. But I kind of think it's up because these allegations like these are some of the worst you could have. And look, took a lot of folks down. Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, Diddy. If he think he not going to be the next one with those allegations, he got another foot coming. So I think it's up for him. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Tay, your thoughts?
Say you got nobody to do but yourself. Your ego, your pride, your narcissism, and the most of all, you just can't keep your mouth shut because everything is coming back to you, Shane. You're gonna lose a house, you're gonna lose your car, and say goodbye to that the NSPN that they want you to come back. Say goodbye to that, Shane, and tell me that, Shane, you just like the rest of your brothers, Sean the Puff Daddy and Billy Cosby. You just like them right there. A predator hunt his prey. And tell me that, Shane, I'm just feel bad for your family right now because they had to hear about this right here. Like I said before, I'm gonna say it again. You are done, Shane. Done. That's all, Diva.
Thank you. Tay, your thoughts? I mean, not Tay, Savannah, your thoughts? Thank you, Tay.
David, did you say if one of the front runners was is it Jason or Travis Kelsey that's the
Oh,
front
it's
runner?
Jason. It's his brother.
Okay, Jason.
Mhm.
I think he's an excellent choice. Jason has a very playful and joyful personality, and I think fits more into the Disney image and mold than what's going on. But at the same time, I'm going to side eye the company because this isn't the first allegation against Shannon Sharpe or Stephen A. Smith. He himself has had some behind the curtain stories that they may go away very quickly. Uh, Shannon needs a timeout and he needs to focus on his podcast and try to, that was his moneymaker anyway. I would, try to revamp that, come back, pivot, make a different spin. But right now, just sit out, Shannon. Which until the next one that the machine goes after, I think Shannon needs to go ahead and go on timeout because he did it to himself by messing with these young sharks, and many people have warned him for years of his appetite and his behaviors, and it's just like Diddy with his vices. It's hard to go through withdrawals, and I really think Shannon's going through withdrawals right now. So he needs to be on timeout and get some help. Focus on your podcast. That was your moneymaker.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Shannon ain't going through ish, okay? Because they ain't clean his A up and give him some charges. Okay? Sorry, Savannah, but no. If I may, I'd like to read a quote from Mr. Sharpe. So somebody was asking him about his dating. And he says, quote, "It's the older women trying to shame older men into picking them. Because, see, that's the competition. Older women ain't the competition with older women. It's them young ones that I'll do and will do what you want, close quote. He went on to say that older women who assert their independence because they make their own money and therefore claim they have, quote, paid the cost to be the boss, close quote. He went on to say, you the boss by yourself. Well, he gonna be by himself up in a jail cell if he don't come up with that $50 million. I don't care how many contracts he lose or what he think he can build back. You better pay up that money. He went a little quiet because he said, oh, I misread the room. I thought everybody was with me because 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week, he's on a nightcap, and he been talking about all the young women he has done this to and done that to, and it's been a key and a he. Well, that reminded me of our guy out there on the West Coast, Stephen. What's his name? The one with the orange slippers. The one with Tupac.
Keefe D.
No,
thank you, Katrina.
Oh, Keefe D. Okay.
Right? So Keefe D went around for years telling the story, right? And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, there they were, prosecuting team, taking him in. Nice little sunny morning. He was out there with a cup of coffee. And he hasn't been back on the street since. Mr. Sharpe been doing this dirt for 30 years. 30 years. I got to disagree with your friend. This ain't no OJ part 2. This is, you've been doing this dirt for a long time, harming people on the job, in the street, married to them or dating them long term. And you've been a predator, an abuser, a serial R out here. We need him charged, cleaned up, and let him go get some help. I'm done with him. I'm finished.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
My thoughts is, what if somebody was doing to his daughter that he's doing to these people? Or what if somebody was doing this to his mom that he's doing to these women? And the thing with these women are, I'm not victim shaming, but what I'm saying is, why y'all wait for one person to come out and then you come out? If you already had this done to you, maybe if you would have came out first, the next person would know what type of man he is. And I also blame the company that he works for, because they did know about his allegations, but they paid him off. If they would have not paid him off, or they wouldn't took payoffs or whatsoever, maybe he could have been stopped a long time ago. But by them taking that money and he's doing what he's doing, he thinking that he can pay his way out of anything because he's a 3-time football star. So I blame a lot of this industry. I blame him. And I blame some of the women. And no, I'm not victim shaming, but what I'm saying is, if these women would have came out instead of taking these payoffs, maybe the next woman wouldn't went through the same thing. And the situation with him, he knew he had a problem. But see, you thought that because who you were, nobody was gonna stop you. And now you ain't got stopped. And as we said, Bill Cosby got stopped. And if Hugh Hefner was alive, he would probably be in jail as well. But what I'm saying is, women do not, I mean, I know they want to pay off, big pay value whatsoever. But maybe if you come out and talk about something, maybe the next person won't go through it. Or you sit back and knowing what this man is doing and you still allow it. And then you thinking about how you going to get paid off of what he's doing when you allowing this person to do it to you. Shannon, man, you had too many chances and you blew it. That's why I tell people, if you don't have a millionaire mindset, you're not going to ever stay being a millionaire. And whatever money he got, that could have been going to your kids and your family, but yet still, it's going to go out to some other woman that you already gave other money to, which should have been in your family. This is ridiculous. And he just came out and made a fool out of himself. If he stopped wearing them extra medium shirts, maybe his brain can get some oxygen and he'll know how to think. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You know, I used to say to myself too, if people had warnings, they maybe they could take heed. But I'm really starting to think that people, even with warning signs, are going to do what they want to do because that's what they want to do. And the only reason why I'm saying this, and respectfully, when we had the conversation, because Royce Reed came up, it kind of you know, it took the conversation in another direction. But I'm saying this as respectful as I can. The Dwight Howard ex-fiance, she had a lot of warning signs. And she still blew past all of them. She blew past the yield sign, the stop sign, the all of it. The yellow light. She blew past all of that and did what she wanted to do. And unfortunately, on the back end, she found out that what everybody's saying, it was what it was, right?
Read the Yelp reviews and still went at it. Just crazy.
That part. Read the Yelp reviews and still decided that this is what I'm going to do and this is the way I'm going to go. So some people are going to do what they're going to do regardless. And my thing is, you know, jobs, they, not to say that jobs won't, they still may not hire the wrong person, but at the very least, they try their best and they interview the people and they look at the resumes, your track record. And a lot of times if your track record said you worked at one job in 2020, a different one in 2021, a different one in 2022, a different one in 2023, that's telling them something without you even answering any questions. So all I can say is Shannon Sharpe, they said in his NFL career, he made $22 million. And I forgot how long his NFL career was. And right after his career, you got offered $100 million contract and you trashed it in the garbage. Felicia, you want to say something before I close out?
Yes, 14 years.
14 years. 14 years in the NFL. And that's what you made, $22 million or something like that. I'm trying to see if I could bring back up. I don't know where I wrote down my information at. You made $22 million. And now here it is. You just blew this. You just blew this. It's just insane. You blew it. And why, for what? But again, we got to go with, we keep going back to the addictions. The addictions is what's taking a lot of these people down. Athletes, entertainers, or whatever. They said, you know, Kanye West is hooked on that. What's the stuff you get when you go to the dentist? It's
laughing gas.
The laughing gas. It's alleged that Justin Bieber indulges a lot. It's alleged that Shannon Sharpe liked the steroids. I don't know what's true or not true, but it seems like there's a common theme of some type of vice that all of these individuals seem to indulge in, and it takes them down. We're going to stay connected to all of these stories. Like I said, the Diddy trial is starting May 5th. And from what it looks like right now, Epic fell on his lawyer's part. If the best they got is to say that this man was out of his mind, this ain't looking good for Diddy. And I don't know how true it is, because sometimes people start these urban legends on the street. They're saying that the plea deal was offering him 10 to 15 years. Listen, I would go ahead. I would have denied it to him, went ahead and tried to fight for my life, because at the end of the day, I mean, 10 to 15 years from now, he's going to be close to 80. I don't know. And then, you know, with Shannon Sharpe, it is what it is. Good luck with him on YouTube now. Because I think either way, he's going to be looked at differently. And the 11-year-old tragedy, it's a tragedy. Very sad. Listen, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all know the routine. If y'all didn't hit the like button on the way in, do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. My goal for April, and I'm sticking to it, even though I got 2 days left, is to hit 40K subscribers this month. Listen, everybody, good night and goodbye. See you next time.
Do not